What up, Sid? Alrighty, we are live from Columbus. So that was not a good O. Let's try the O. Columbus OH. And this is the Ramsey Show After Show. What up, Sid? Alrighty. And we have confirmed that audio exists, which does tend to make a better show. Alrighty. You're watching this on youtube.com/coachstevemoney, and I am a Ramsey Solutions financial coach, certified. Excuse me. Ramsey Solutions certified financial coach. And for my financial content, you just scroll past the Oak Island playlist, and you'll see the Ramsey Show After Show. Today is number 551. Answering Your Financial Questions playlist. There's 138 in there, and there are 12 Ramsey adjacent songs in the music playlist, such as How to Do the Baby Steps Right, because people do them incorrectly all the time, doing it wrong. Market report. Hey, guess what? Futures were down all morning, even for the NASDAQ, but look at that. Look at that. Who is doing that here? Alphabet up 4%. They own your Google and your YouTube, in case you were not aware of that. Sid thinks you're aware of it at this point. Meta, of course, the artist formerly known as Facebook. Sid probably thinks you're aware of that stuff, and she gives you more credit than I do, for sure. Oh, let's see. What's the rest of the planet like here? But the rest of it just barely down. S&P just barely down. That's like even almost. Negative 0.22% for the Dow and negative 3.35, percent for the Russell Small Cap Index. That would be the Russell 2000 for those keeping score at home. Everything down in the Europe and the Asia. Very nice. Alrighty. I mean, it's not great for them, but that's going to happen sometimes. And they were up yesterday when or the past 2 days, they were up when the United States was down. Let's see, speaking of countries against each other, let's see what the currency rates are. US dollar over the euro was even, but now over the Japanese yen. Down to the British pound, though, love. Up against the Canadian dollar, sorry, and up against the Australian dollar. So a good day today, except for the British pound. Bloody quid. Higher. Let's see, we have analog devices reported this morning, and maybe that's why your NASDAQ is up, perhaps. Let's see. And that's a NAR on that one, at least as of, what was that, 10:16 a.m., and then it took a dive there. Let's see what those earnings are. Stock rises on second quarter earnings and revenue beats. Okay, but then all of a sudden, as people say incorrectly, it's all of a sudden. And could be day traders just trying to lock it in. But yeah. So they had a good report. All the good it does them at this point, but anything could happen. It's early in the day. Not that great of a time to be talking about the market. Better to do that later in the day. Ralph Lauren, I'm assuming that would be this afternoon. Let's see, and so that jumped up this morning. Or no, started out low because the dot here, the dotted horizontal line is yesterday's close. And so, but it's up for the moment. Oh, no, they must have reported already as well. Exceeds quarter one expectations. Next quarter sales guidance is optimistic. Okay, and that's all you can do really is exceed expectations for the last quarter, and for the next quarter, you say, okay, I think we're gonna make some more money next quarter, and you can do both of those things. Check both of those boxes, and then your stock still goes down. That we have seen that before. So, and I mean, in this case, as you can see, some people might think it jumped up too much, and then somebody said, "Oh yeah, day traders, I'm gonna lock that money in." There we go. So I got that money. That's cool. And then, but now going back up. Alrighty, fun times. Who good? Anybody good coming in? Booze Allen Hamilton. All right, I do not know what that is. Let's take a quick look. Booze Allen Hamilton Holding Corporation is the parent of Booz. Okay. An American company specializing in intelligence, AI, and digital transformation. Okay, great. And that's tomorrow. But other than that, apparently no other big earnings. And let's see, Apple down 0.67%. And of course, it's in the early, everything else up. In the the 6 most followed single stocks on the Google, and the number 7 one would be the NVIDIA, which is normally right down here, and that is up 1.04% as well. Let's do a refresh here in case I haven't already, and check out the headlines, see if there's anything fun. Home sales dropped to the slowest pace for that month since April. Home sales since 2009. I think rates are higher. The rates went up a little bit in the last month. What is this month? It's May now. Yeah, so April. Yeah, so the rates were up. I saw an article on that yesterday saying the rates went up, and so sales dropped. While the bond market suddenly freaking out over the big beautiful bill. Yeah, that's like some kind of spending bill happening, but the bond market suddenly, anything involving finances freaks out all the time, overreacts all the time. An influencer game follows as she documented her weight loss. Then she reveals she was on a GLP-1, and I believe that just means like an Ozempic, or the Wegovy, one of those type of drugs. United Healthcare became the face of America's health insurance frustrations. They are having issues lately. Taxpayer alert: the dire. No time to wallow in the dire. Consequences of green tax credits and why it dooms America's future. All right. It's from Fox Business. Must decision to limit political spending leave some Republicans cold. Oh, we thought we were going to get unlimited money from you, Elon. Tesla's Cybertruck officially a flop. Speaking of Elon, Treasury sounds death knell for penny production. All right. And Walmart to cut 1,500 corporate jobs in restructuring. All right. And I don't have a problem with that either, because, when that happens, so you shouldn't have made those jobs to begin with, apparently. Bad. Some people do over hiring and such. See what articles I have here. Yes. Sid knows what the GLP-1 is. Trey says the guy with the glioblastoma was a rough call indeed. When you tell it, and that's the whole thing. With that is, you would tend to think, okay, enjoy the rest of the time you have. I think he ended up saying 8 months would be maximum. The problem is if you spend all your money and then you live longer than that. So you still got to be somewhat judicious in your spending. This from the Hill. Many Americans plan to slash travel, entertainment spending in 2025, which they should. If there's an economic thing in today's economy, if you're talking that crap all the time, those buzzwords in today's world and this economy, blah, 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 blah. Okay, well then stop spending as much money then. Especially things that aren't 100% necessary, which would be travel in most cases and entertainment spending. They plan to lower budgets for travel and dining out. I wonder how much of the majority of respondents actually will do that instead of just plan to do that. That's up from 49% who plan to cut discretionary spending last year. Attitude shifts come amid recession fears, low consumer sentiment. Yeah, well, when did not we have a some kind of economic problems? Has there been a time where everything was great since the pandy? And maybe even before that. I don't recall any. And probably part of that is because if you put on a newspaper or a headline, if you put everything's great, nobody's going to click on that or buy that paper, probably. So, also from the Hill, though, in the a dichotomy of reporting. Oh, look at this. Memorial Day weekend travel expected to break record from the AAA is suggesting that will happen. And so are both these going to be true at the same slash travel entertainment spending in 2025? But oh, well, not for Memorial Day. We didn't know you were talking about holidays. So nutty. Let's do some. Oh no, one more. It fooled me with the red logo there. This is from the U.S. Sun. It's so great in the bloody U.K. that we had to have one over here in the U.S. Done our part, and of course that would be we have done our part, not we done our part. But regardless of that, Walmart issues fiery takedown of week-long boycott of chain as Target and McDonald's now also in shoppers' crosshairs. People can do this kind of boycott and crap all they want to, and so that's a week long. So what are you gonna do? Stock up at Walmart beforehand? Or just wait and hope you have enough and then go to Walmart the day after this little week-long boycott that won't change anything happens? They try to do this stuff before and it's not even a blip on the radar. It doesn't matter. So that's fine. It defeats the entire point of economics if you say, oh, well, I'm going to boycott Walmart and I will go to Whole Foods and pay twice as much for stuff instead. And so that's not going to happen. Right, they faced another economic blackout last month and did not affect them at all. They had the same amount of business, actually a little bit higher business than they had the same day the previous year. Now questions. We did where to put extra down payment savings while renting. You can use the market, but you got to have at least 5 years. If it's less than 5 years, that would be a high yield savings account. That's going to be the best you can do with that. Multiple Ramsey book purchases is from Aggravating King 7767. Alrighty. That reminds me, somebody in the Ramsey show today was called Something the Great. And I'm like, all right, is this your username from when you were 8 years old? Because that's really like a little kid thing, making a name that says they're whatever the great. Crazy. Multiple Ramsey book purchases for someone who has bought multiple Ramsey books, especially money ones. Why? Can't imagine there's anything in Breaking Free from Broke that's not in the Total Money Makeover. Well, it's the same plan. It's the same general advice. I would imagine that Breaking Free from Broke has a lot of the George Camel signature snark in it. But there may also be other things in it. I have not read that one, so I cannot say for sure on that. But I would think it would be very easy to say that in all their books there would be at least one thing that's not in any of the other books. And so how much that helps you, I can't say. So I don't know. You would think, like I said, have I read any other ones than Total Money Makeover? I feel like for me, I read another one, but I can't remember it. It would have been another one written by Dave. It wasn't Entree Leadership. I can't remember what it was, but I got it from the library, and I can't remember what other one other than Total Money Makeover it was. And I also can't remember if it had anything that wasn't in Total Money Makeover. So I'm no help on that one. Oh, let's see. Trey says temporary boycotts don't work, permanent ones can. Yep. So it says, yeah, I think it's going to take something hugely scandalous to take down a big store like Walmart or Target. Right. Because at the end of the day, you're not paying as much at Walmart. And so some people go to that, just like myself, for example, go to the Walmart just because it's cheaper. And so, and I don't know what it is exactly that they did that pissed people off by having lower prices. What is it that's making you mad about that? Oh, I think before it was the DEI stuff where they said, oh, how about if we just run our business in a good way instead of trying to do checkbox hiring with the DEI crap. And so when they got rid of that, I think that's why that last boycott was there. And so why it is this time, I don't think it said. Let's see what it said. Yep. Oh, it's the same reason. Same reason. Okay, rollback of diversity, equity, inclusion, DEI programs since last year. Hey, guess what? Guess what? Oh, maybe they didn't make as much money. Maybe they ended up all these DEI hires. Maybe a lot of them didn't work out then. How about we hire the best person for the job instead of checking dumb ass boxes? All right. What up, Matty Bag? Hashtag mention. Yes, it says, like, if it becomes known they use company trucks for human trafficking or something like that. Yeah, that would be bad. That would not be the best thing to be on the news. Since also says, just being salty about DEI. Yep, our tariffs aren't going to stop the majority of people from looking for the most affordable store for their household staples. Have you tried Staples? What up, Matty Bag? Hashtag mention. What up, Aslan? How is life and stuff? Target did feel a pinch a few years back when they had a politically related boycott for trans kids clothing that seemed to work. I'm indifferent on the reason behind it, but they did modify their inventory quickly. Alrighty. Target strikes me as being very left-leaning. Could be. And it says if you feel they are doing something you don't agree with them, don't shop there. Don't worry so much about what everyone else is doing. That is true. Staples doesn't sell real food. Coach Steve Money. You know, they don't have any Do they have any gum there or any snacks or something like? Oh, that's what you mean by real food. All right, all right. And what I was saying was, have you tried Staples? That was from what's that from? The where Bill Murray is Scrooged is the name of that. Ending with a D. That's Scrooged with Bill Murray movie. As in hopes all of us are having a nice morning. We hope you are as well, ma'am. This call pissed me off. Heard this for the first time. What was it? 3 days ago. Was it so Monday? So Friday show Monday, which I didn't see. I heard this for the first time today. It pissed me off. Adam from Knoxville. If you're reading this, you're a grade A douche. Okay. All right. Good to know. Kara Soing. Sell house or not? I owe $29,000 on my house. Two realtors have told me it could sell for $265 to $275. And first, you got to look at why they told you that. If they were people that you didn't know and just sought you out to tell you that so that they could make some money off of you selling it, that's not a reason to sell it. I owe $29K on student loans, $6K for a bathroom remodel, and $25K on credit cards. No car loan, single, make $80,000 a year, and feel like for me it's all going towards minimum payment. Should I sell my house and live in an apartment for a year or two and save and then buy again? If the apartment's going to be less than your mortgage, and so what's the total here? 29, 35, and 25 is 60. So 60K in debt and make 80 per year. So if you can live on 60 per year, you can pay that off in what, 3 years? What did I say that was? Or 80, wait a minute, 80. 29, 35, and 25 is 60. So yeah, 3 years. So if you can live on 60K per year, obviously that's gross probably, so a little bit less than that. So if you can cut your spending down, you can pay that off in 3 years, then you don't have to sell your house if you don't want to. So it would just depend. And you can also work more, take on a part-time job as well if you like the house and want to keep it. But selling the house is going to relocate your finances. The problem with quick fixes like that is, yeah, they work, but it didn't take any discipline to do that, and you didn't change spending habits to do that. So it would depend on, like right now, have you already changed your spending habits? And are you paying it off? And are you not adding to the debt? All that would depend on all that. Whether otherwise you could be selling the house, and it might be a house you like, and you could be selling it for no reason then, if you just get into the same problem again. So all this depends on you. It depends on what work you've done on your finances so far and where your mindset is. Popo Bureau. No complaints. Sid gonna listen to audiobook and type up some recipes. What audiobook, Sid? Person might need a financial audit. That's true. Or at least somebody taking a gander, just taking a peek at their financial situation, budget, and so forth. But yeah, the fact that you're thinking about it, that means maybe, like for example, it could be way too much house as well. That could be also another factor that shouldn't have bought it anyway. And if you cannot afford it on a 15-year fix, if it's on a 30, then probably you shouldn't have bought it anyway. And so then it probably would be a good idea to sell it. But you do still have to change your spending habits. And so forth. And as in things, just get a second job and pay off everything and keep your home. Yeah, and that's again, if it's not too much house, if you didn't buy too much house for your 80, and so as we've learned, so that would be 80 is 160 and 40, so that would be a $200,000 mortgage is what you can afford per Mr. Ramsey. So if it's more than, oh, you owe 2009. So right there. So, I mean, I would let that go if you really like it. But again, that has to be on a 15. If you, even if you owe only 209, but you couldn't afford a payment if it was on a 15, then that's a NAR for Mr. Ramsey, and that's when you also should sell it. That's a indication that you should sell. But yeah, second job's recommended. I think when people look at their home, selling their home to do a reset on debt, they're looking for the easy way out. That's true as well. So that's why I mentioned all that. You do have to be very careful because you could get completely out of debt, and then if you go back into debt, then it was all for naught. American Patriot 00, American Patriot and American Patriot 0 were taken, I'm assuming. Progress in the past year and a half. This is more to this. In the past year and a half, I've paid off 9 collections accounts, bring my score from low 500 to 652. We don't care about that here, though. We don't care about credit score. Made on time payments every month. My car will be paid off next month, and I've started snowballing my student loan. In the last 6 months, I've paid off $12,000 alone and another 42,000 K. Probably, I'm gonna go ahead and say that means 4,200 instead of 4,200,000 is what I'm gonna go ahead and guess. That will be knocked out next month, especially since it can be knocked out in just 1 month. So the K did not need to be there. If you want to do K, you would take off the 2 zeros and just put 4.2K. Once my car is paid off, I'll have a student loans, 46K total spread across 11 loans. My plan is to snowball those with the car payment money, which far exceeds minimums. Plan is to have them paid off next year. Great. That seems like progress to me. I'm in a position where I just received a 33% increase in my income. That doesn't hurt at all. By accepting a new job a few months ago. This is helping significantly, and once my car is paid off, I'm looking to get into a starter house by the end of the summer. Dave is changing my life. You're the one changing your life. Dave just gave you a plan and to do it, but Dave does not change your life. Like, for example, if people hear about Dave's advice, but then they don't do it, their stuff doesn't get changed, and it's not Dave's fault. It's their fault. And so just like that way, it's Dave came up with a great plan, and he shared it with us all, and that is fabulous. But you're the one doing it. I don't follow everything to a T. Of course you're not. It's Reddit. Let's get real. But it starts with mindset and being disciplined. That much is certain. I use an old phone. I don't need out. I haven't done a damn thing exciting in 2 years. By year's end, I expect to be in my first home and on the path to saving 15% to retirement. Rice and beans and rice baby. All right. By year's end, plans to have them paid off next year. You would not be saving money for a down payment at the same time, and maybe this is the I'm not doing it to a T. You're not even doing everything to an S. because you're doing it wrong. You would be paying off everything and getting your full emergency fund before you would start saving for a down payment. So you're doing it wrong. And also, if you have any down payment savings already, that would be applied to any of your loans and pay those off quicker. So you're doing it wrong. Rice and beans, beans and rice, baby. Yeah, rice, baby. Boom, 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 boom. So yeah, making progress for sure. Better than not paying off debt at all, but you're still doing it wrong. Bo, bo, bo. 4.2 million dollars paid off next month, Steve. Right? Yeah, it's not. It's not. Series paying off. So the title for that one said that she is following her own plan, not the Ramsey plan. She said they did it once, but life happened and the debt came back up. Caleb just likes anti-Dave titles. That's true. He wasn't. Dave was not wrong. Because they spent over $500 a month in fast food and think $400 or $600 on miscellaneous BS. All right. I've noticed a number of financial people use that strategy. It's good for getting more views. Right. Right. Maybe I should do that. I'm not going to do that. Mr. Flocka. How to be less miserly and not miss the forest for the trees. Okay. Well, the whole thing about rice and beans and rice is not forever. Baby step 6, okay? Right now, you should still be a little bit miserly until you have that house paid off. 22 man, and that's fabulous to be on step 6 at 22. So theoretically, this person will be absolutely fine and have 90K in savings and 35K in my 401K. Unless your emergency fund is 90K, you're doing it wrong. That money should be, I mean, some of it could be sinking funds for vacation and stuff like that, which is fine. But if it's just savings to have savings, you're debt leveraging the mortgage to have those savings. And so that's a NAR for Mr. Ramsey. I started heavily investing and saving at age 18. After graduating college early, I started working. Still live with my parents and had saved more. Plans to move out once I hit around 150 to 200K. Lived with parents. So now I guess in a house. Okay. Since housing prices have doubling it in the past 10 years in my area, but salaries have not. Well, that's how that works. Plan is to move out once I have. So you're not in baby step 6. So people are nutty. So let's see what baby step 6 is, just in case I forgot. You never know when that dementia's going to hit. You never know. Pay off your home early. If you do not have a home, then you are not in step 6. If you are saving a down payment, that would be step 3B, sir. And let's go back. However, I am miserable and always feel the need to save. I always feel the need to save money. Okay, I mean that's a you problem. I mean, you should have those goals in mind. Is moving out, and it doesn't have to be in a house right away. That is the problem especially with your overachievers like this person here, 22 years old, and wants to have a house. His parents probably didn't have a house when they were 22 years old, unless they were renting it. So there's nothing wrong with renting first, while you get your life in order. And if you've only lived with your parents, you don't know how the world works. You're being shielded. And that is why Mr. Ramsey advises that adults do not live with mommy and daddy. Whether it was commuting to class instead of living in the dorms and making memories and friends in college, so now driving my 12-year-old pedal Honda with over 150,000 miles. I'm constantly focused on saving money. Yeah, I do that too, but I don't think it's being miserable. It's not leading me to be miserable, and I don't think of myself as miserly. I also feel like I also don't live with my parents though, and so I understand you wanting to move out, and so you should be able to do that. Again, you do not have to buy a house your first time moving out of your parents' house. You don't have to go from your parents' house to a mortgage. You do not have to do that. People are nutty that think you do. I also feel like, for me, I can't get rid of things without making money. Whether it be selling crap on eBay for a few bucks profit. Hey, that's up to you. Some people do have this issue. And you might need some counseling for it if you can't get it into something that you feel like should be more realistic behavior. I just have to keep saying, I feel like, for me, so many feels, too many feels. And that is the problem, would be the problem with the average 22-year-old today. Too many. I feel like. Tell me things that you know about yourself and what's going on, and think about them. And if you want to change, change. And if you cannot, then you need counseling. I feel like this is reinforced after getting laid off in my career. Okay. But not sure if there is a solution for this. Laid off in my career. Okay, so if you are not working now, that is the problem. And so, hey, got a great idea. Get your ass back to work. How about you go to work? Because you do want to move out, right? And you do want to keep growing savings, etc., retirement, etc. And so how about you get another job if you don't have one now, but you didn't specify a timeline. You just said getting laid off in my career. You didn't say recently or still, laid off, but that would be to get a job to bring in the money so that you can accomplish your goals. Not sure the solution for this. Yeah, the solution would be to get it when you get laid off or fired or quit a job, then you get another job. I was raised on Dave Ramsey, but wonder what he would say about my situation. I would assume pretty much what I said. And he would advise that probably that you not live with mommy and daddy and you go experience the real world, since you have been an adult for 4 years now. And so how about you've a failure to launch so far, how about we launch? And so he might say something like that, but also probably will address the goals that you do have. And they don't happen with being laid off. And so again, I don't know if this laid off thing is just something you threw in and you are currently employed, investing. Yeah, it doesn't say I'm making X amount per year. So, and if you're not working, then I can certainly understand why you would be more miserly. If you're not working, if you don't have any income, then that would certainly explain that to me. So, a lot of questions here. Let's see, 20. Oh, let's just see if there's more. Not that many comments to scroll through to see. Just want to see if there's more information, because they often don't, especially when they normally when they type a whole lot, it's a typing things that don't affect the situation and they leave out things that do. So first of all, again, you're not on baby step 6, baby. Don't do that. Don't misinterpret the baby steps. You're doing it wrong. If you're saving up for a down payment, that's 3B. Come back to that. So not miss the forest for the trees. Okay. Well, we don't have to put sayings in our titles, but all right. How to be less miserly. No, you should be miserly if you don't have a job. Appropriate post. Oh, this is for that one that I pulled up already. That can someone roast my spending? I feel like for me, my spending is out of control. This was last month. This month is on track to be even worse. Please give me any advice you can. Well, stop spending. Then that's the general advice. Under direct threat of losing my job. Okay, let's see what's up. Let's see what's up. Yeah. Let's see what is up. Let's see. I've let the comments get away from me. Boom, 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 boom. As I say, it seems like he wants to buy a home, and that is why he's saving the 150 to 200K. Sid says, yeah, he's on 3B and choosing not to have any fun and trying to blame Dave when he should be intentional, not gazelle intense. Yeah, should rent for a year before he buys a house, says Sid, and she is absolutely correct about that. Find a wait until he has the down payment first, though, in her opinion. Proper lawn care alone could be annoying, especially if the lawn was neglected for years prior, then add in things like appliance maintenance, HVAC yearly upkeep, and they'd have a stroke. Yeah. And do you think the lad is prepared for things like that? No. The lad just looks outside his windows and sees people taking care of the lawn, or doesn't even pay attention to it, just sees that it's always done, and thinks that magically the lawn gnomes come in overnight and clean and take care of that, I guess. But yeah. Learn to live. Learn to live. Learn to adulting. So it has a front runner with an 08 Accord, 180,000 miles. Boom, boom, boom. Alrighty. Does it say 200 on coffee? It sure does. So that's a no. But yeah. Let's go back and see. It does not say anybody else. 3% for spouse. Okay. Does not say kids, though. So for 2 people, let's go back. 2 people, so that's groceries. What's that? 125 a week for 2 people. Might be able to cut that down a little bit. But I could live with that if you cut out the fast food. If you're having money problems, I mean, that's when you would, or you have debt, your baby steps 1, 2, 3, then you do not eat out at fast food or restaurants. And so that's $700 that frees up right there. And then not only that, but the coffee is $200. That's a no. Entertainment $200 for the month, so that's what, $100. So that's like fun money, $100 a month. I could live with that more than the fast food restaurants and coffee, for sure. Auto and transport, insurance, gas, maintenance, $600 a month. And 2 vehicles, and maybe. Amazon $550. Okay, so if that is just, so this is shopping, $1,000. Oh, food and dining, you have 1400 there, but you're doing it wrong. But the shopping part, okay, if this Amazon does not include the dress clothes or the hobbies or food or anything else, if this is just something totally different, then all that goes away and you don't do any of that. So you're doing it wrong. If there's a problem, otherwise you can buy any of the stuff that you put in the budget. Did he happen to mention what there's a mortgage. So, oh, baby step three. Baby step three. Okay, so yeah, you would not be doing any of that crap. Any of the stuff that I said to cut out. Yeah, guess what? There's none of fast food, no restaurants, no coffee for $200. Make coffee at home. There's no Amazon 550. Dress clothes 250 every single month. I got a great idea. Wear something twice. And hobbies, maybe hobbies have to not happen until you get your full emergency fund. Pet insurance, charity, health, 300 a month. And the savings well, I mean, that is that 30-50 part of the emergency fund. If it's not, if it's extra savings, that's a no unless it's a sinking fund. And so you do have to be intentional for that. And why they have this here with my salary and this here with the spouse salary. I don't know what's going on there. So, I guess that just breaks that apart, but she's also helping to pay for everything. Not if she's putting 30-50 a month in savings. So, unless this is some weird budget, but that's what the budget is. It says what you are putting in every month into savings, not the amount that's already there. So definitely doing some things wrong. Definitely would have other questions for this person. For sure. To find out what's going on. Currently I've got 18K in savings, interest-free credit card debt. Yeah, that okay. Oh, you're on step 2. Okay, so yeah. There's no restaurants. There's no fast food. There's no any of that stuff. There's no Amazon 550 spending. That's a no. You are doing it wrong. You do deserve to be roasted. And it is out of control. Yeah. And if it's going to be worse, yeah, it's getting even worse. And so who's the problem? Is that you or a spouse? Especially if you're threat of losing your job. How is this month on track to be worse because you're not expecting money to come in and you're still spending like money's going to come in? That's dumb as crap. So, logically, if one were under direct threat of losing job, maybe you don't spend money on crap for a while. How about that? Sid also curious about power bill. I know I'm a weirdo for how warm we keep the house, but every degree you raise the temp in the summer can change your bill up to 3% depending on your insulation. That's just the way the software does it, Steve. Okay. What is that? Are you just assuming that? Have you used that particular, what it is? Oh, I got rid of it already. It said done by, blah, 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 blah. Or is that something that comes in every dollar? OP and spouse feed into the long budget line, then everything splits off that into the other categories. Okay. Should worry about flooding is a legit worry in your state in the southeastern part of Texas, so your brother is correct. He told me to smell for mold and pull the seat belts all the way out, checking on both sides. Good idea. they're not really in a terrible place. Just pay off the debt and maybe go out to eat a little less often. Yeah, which is like none until you have the full emergency fund. At least get the full emergency fund going, and then you set the budget. Okay, yeah. Again, this is the copy of the expenses. Okay, so instead of just doing that, how about you say before the month start, we're only going to spend this much on this category. So, and that's what a budget is. So, but definitely spending too much. 100%. New car budget, True Farm, 7829. Hey, my question is, what's a reasonable budget for a car? My situation, 225K year income, no debt, paid, no debt. Paid off 225 in consumer debt, 2022-2024. Fabulous. Age 37. Single. No house. I currently have about 65K in non-retirement savings. 36-month emergency fund is about 15K to 25K. Okay. That 10K difference is a big difference there. So I don't know what that means. So that would mean, I guess, 25 of this 65 is the emergency fund then maybe. So you have 40K. So I would hold it to 40K at least, but I don't give a crap about cars except it getting me from A to B. So my advice always on cars is to spend as little as possible for something that will do the job and that you have had checked out by your mechanic. You do not trust the buyer's mechanic. You do not trust the dealership mechanic. That's a no, 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 no. Retirement assets are right at 60K. Just started in 2024. I'm banking about 5K per month. Job is, you wouldn't be doing like extra savings like that. That should be 15% of gross income. Does it say? 225 and 15%. Why don't I just use a calculator instead of trying doing that in my head? 225 times 0.15 is 33,000 per year. And it just started in 2024, so it sounds like might be doing more than 15%. Okay. Alrighty. I'm banking about 5K per month. Job is very stable with additional income opportunities. My absolute dream car would cost about $60,000. No problem with having a $60,000 car on that income. It would depend on any other things with wheels and motors in them that you have. I recognize that's probably in the absurd category, but in this conversation, I guess it would set an upper limit. So let me hear it. What would you do if you're in my shoes? I would spend as little as possible. I don't have a dream car. So I mean, since you're doing the 15%, you're doing it. No house, so you're choosing to rent. Are the savings, the 5K in savings per month, is that going towards down payment or something like that? If so, if you have other goals, I would weigh in the car with other goals. Like, for example, the down payment, if that's what you're doing, or anything else you want to spend money on other than this car. If there's nothing else and you want to get a 60K car, knock yourself out. It does have to be all in cash. And you do not, it's not an emergency to get that dream car, so you would not be using that. So you would have to save up more money because the 3 to 6 month is 15K to 25K, and we decide how many months we want before we start thinking about buying things. Like, you don't go from a 6-month emergency fund to a 3-month emergency fund because you see a car you want. That's not how that works. That is intellectual dishonesty. And that's a NAR from Coach Steve Money. Boo, 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 boo. Since been browsing for a few days. Found a local 3 and 4 in price range. Go look at Saturday. I was supposed to call and see if they're interested in buying the Koopa as a trade-in. But bless life. With his Aslan says, with his income and savings, I would budget around $16,000 for a 3-year-old used car. All right. Yeah. And so again, it all depends on other goals and how you want to do that. Like if you want to buy a house, how soon do you want to buy a house? And you just weigh that. Do I want dream car or do I want that? And so yeah, I would be thrilled with a $16,000 car. I don't know if I'll ever have one. I don't remember how much my first car was. That one was brand new when I was 16 years old, and so I can't remember how much it was. I don't think it was 16,000 though. That was a minute ago, kids, though. That was in the year of our Lord 1984. MT 569112. Oh, Taco Bell remembered me. Trying to sell me some white meat, tortilla chip breading, and Mike's Hot Honey Diablo sauce. That must be, is that the Diablo nuggets or something? Where were we? Good income, no debt, high cost of living. Well, no debt makes it easier to live in a high cost of living area. When you don't have a high cost of living area income, you just have a good income. That's better than having a bad income trying to live in a high cost living area. Let's see what is up. Hi there. Hi guys. I'm currently a nurse in the Bay Area. That will probably be the San Francisco Bay Area, which would make that Taxifornia. And get paid near the maximum a nurse can make anywhere. I've got no debt, as the post says, but the cost of living is pretty crazy. Yeah, it's Taxifornia. It's the Bay Area. That's one of the most expensive parts of the California. I'll really never be able to afford a house. Yeah, probably they start about millions of dollars. So you'd have to move elsewhere or the outskirts maybe, or live an hour away or something. Do I just save as much as I can, then move somewhere cheaper, or just settle into forever renting? My name is Paul, and that's between y'all. You're the one that has to do it. None of us have to live there and never be able to own a house. So it just depends on if you want to do that. So to own a house, what you're saying is that you can't make that happen. And it's possible you could. Now, if you lived miserly in the Bay Area and you saved every penny, it's possible you would be able to get into a mortgage, possibly, eventually, after years, maybe 10 years of saving. But so it all depends on what you want to do with that. So see, this is some of the questions that come up, and they are not covered in the baby steps because this depends on what you want to do. You don't have the debt, which is fabulous. And theoretically, this person would have 3 to 6 months of expenses saved in the excuse me, in a full emergency fund. And so whether you want to settle in the forever renting, that is up to you. You should definitely stop spending if you're spending anything extra that you don't have to. And how much, the percentage that you drop your spending, that also depends on how fast you want to get into a house. Curious of people's ideas of the benefits of maybe owning a home over maintaining a maximum income. Maintaining the maximum income, you just have to work to have that happen. If you mean saving a maximum income instead of putting it into a house, so it all depends on what you mean by that as well. So, this one is really nutty here. And so, but the way you defeat the high cost of living area is that you just save for a down payment for way, 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 way longer than people that don't live in a high cost of living area. And so, if you want a house, you can get one eventually. Coughing fit. So yeah, you can get one eventually if you want. So it's just up to you, and again, what you prioritize, and that to me would be a bigger problem to have, a better problem to have than say being on step 2, especially living in California. So you're doing great there, and again, I'd assume baby step 3 already have the full emergency fund, and hopefully saving for retirement as well. So you would make sure you're doing all that as well as saving up a down payment, but you don't have to invest for 2 years. They will allow you to not do that for 2 years. So you can save up a higher down payment faster. So you have that route to go as well. So, but that's just all to you. So it's whatever you want to do. Wow. Trey has known a few people that lived in the Bay Area for 20 years, earning insane money, then moved back to Texas for a comfy job, having earned enough in those 20 years to set them up for life. Yeah, and so you could do something like that as well. Good story, Trey. Good job. That ties in. Okay, and so tomorrow we'll talk about exchange equity of house for rent. My mother's weird offer. I mean, mother and weird offer, I'm going to go ahead and say no already, but we'll find out what that is. I mean, any kind of business dealing with parents, with family or friends, any of that is a no-go. You do not want to do that. If they want to give you something, that's fine. Just give it to you straight out. No strings, no exchange equity of house for rent. So she wants you to go into that house and rent it from her, pay her rent, and then she'll give you the equity later, or like when she dies or something like that. See, the problem is that she can say she's gonna do that and then she doesn't do that. So, I mean, you would need some kind of legal binding thing that she would have to sign, that she has to leave you the house and the will, that kind of thing. Mortgage, and we'll go more into these and read all this. Tomorrow for a Gotta Get Down on Friday episode of the Ramsey Show Aftershow show. A mortgage. I don't know what it is. What is it? Blah, 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 blah. Better city for my kids to have a better education. All right. And again, that is going to be your choice where you are in the baby steps. The higher number of baby step you're on, the easier it is to make choices like this, because you can prioritize what you want over what's better for you financially. If you're already in a good place financially. Alrighty. Once more, Coach Steve Money, Ramsey Solutions Certified Financial Coach. And hey, if you are having financial problems, or you are just wanting to make sure you're on the right track, or you just want me to tell you that you're doing it wrong, you can schedule a free financial coaching consultation with me at calendly.com. So it's Coach Steve Money. That link is in the ticker below, also in the video description. You can email me at coachstevemoney@gmail.com. Donations can go to paypal.me/CoachSteveMoney. Alternatively, to Cash App $CoachSteveMoney. It wasn't taken. Walmart gift card can go to coachstevemoney@gmail.com. Upcoming streams, the Ramsey Show Aftershow show. That is 10:27 a.m. Ever since the Ramsey Show moved to 9 a.m. on the YouTube. And so yeah, 10:27 a.m. And they did end on time today, not 2 minutes early, but I was ready in case they did. Alrighty. So yeah, thanks everybody for watching. Please subscribe, like, and comment. And as always, make smart financial decisions every single day. Thanks for watching, Aslan.